Good morning and welcome to my show. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and I both invite and encourage you to walk with me on the road to wisdom. Come on, y'all. Let's get to walking. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday, April the 12th, and it is another wonderful morning here in good old Sumter, South Carolina. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and I welcome you to another edition of the Road to Wisdom. Before I get started today, I'm going to give a shout out to Pastor Derek Ford. I was told that he used my story of being saved. He helped me. He brought me to God last year, April 21st, 2023, and I heard he used it in one of his recent sermons. And I want to give him a shout out. I was able to listen to it, and I definitely appreciate him using my story, my testimony, to hammer home a point he was doing in his sermon. So thank you very much. Today, Song of the day is God's Eyes. This is by an unknown, it's an artist I don't know very much about, but when I heard the song, I was immediately drawn to it. It's called, like I said, God's Eyes. It's a rapper. His name is Dax. He's a Christian rapper, and the words that he say in this song are so enlightening, and are so true that I just had to share it with y'all. There's several different versions. There's one of him actually in the video, but the video and the song that I'm going to show you is going to show you the words so you can hear it and see it clearly what he's saying, because there's a part where he's raps very fast, but I can understand it. But sometimes people maybe that's not accustomed to rap music or that genre may not be able to understand it. So I'm going to play the video that has the words to it, and the words are so true about what's going on in today's world. He really breaks it down. It's a very powerful song. I listen to it every day now. It's definitely on my playlist. And again, the rapper name is Dax, and it's called God's Eyes. So let's go ahead and get into it.
I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with men on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Yeah. Rebellious in all ways, been sinners since birth. He knew that it would happen when he put us on this earth. We demonize religion, brought corruption to the church. We know the price of everything, but we don't know the worth. We spend all of our time idolizing false prophets. Comparison's the enemy, stop watching others' pockets. The social system's broken, we divide on every topic. They fabricate the truth and we all monetize the gossip. We know the problems and we see them but don't want to change. We're desensitized to every issue because they let us profit off of people's pain. In this dystopian age, we are the game that he plays, and all the evil, deceitful people should shake our faith. I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with men on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Yeah. Our God is an awesome artist. In perilous times we seek his grace as the world and the times we face turn fake in the face of the devil's mirages. In the midst of the pain, disdain, and the media's push of all this garbage, I pray that you keep your faith as the whole world breaks and the real get disregarded. It's about time that we take it back. The weight's too great for the camel's back. Strong men made like an easy task, and now the weak men feminize every act. In the church, in the workplace, every class, on the television screen, in the state of rap. All virtues gone and it's fade to black. We in hell on earth and it's gonna collapse. Integrity's lost, hedonism, we incentivize gods, and the way the revolution will be televised. Gone too far to know if we can rectify. At those gates we will testify. So I'm saying it now so they counter-clockwise. We are living in times where the wicked is all rise, the intelligent fall, while the stupid is all thrive, and the real get pushed aside. I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with men on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn return to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the birth to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I said, God's Eyes, the rapper, the artist's name is Dax. I don't know much about him, but his songs are very powerful. He has another one, and it depicts um, the crucifixion, and it's very powerful. He used a lot of some choice words in that one, so I'm not going to play that. I don't want to offend anybody. But this song, I think, is an awesome song. Like I said, I gave you the words of it so you can go back and read it and watch it for yourself. But what he's saying is definitely happening in the world, that the devil walks here amongst earth, among us, and he's trying to corrupt us. He's trying to meddle. He's trying to cause all the disarray and all the confusion that he can muster. He's trying to do it. Today I'm going to, as you can see, the title is "What is Your Nature?" What is your nature? And I want to tell you a story. Well, I'm going to show you a story, it's a very old story, and I'm sure that you've heard it before. It's the story of the scorpion and the frog. And I play the story for you, it's about 5 minutes long. Then I'm going to come back and talk to you about it. So here it is: the scorpion and the frog. And the title of my today's topic is "What is your nature?" And you'll understand what I mean by that question once I get done playing this. So let's sit back and relax and watch it. Here we go.
Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. Once upon a time, near the banks of a large river, lived a scorpion in his burrow. Though scorpions by nature are fine with dark places, this scorpion decided his home was too dark and dingy and filled him with sadness. So he set out to find a new home. After searching the riverside for some time, the scorpion came to the conclusion there was no suitable home for him here. But perhaps there could be one on the far side of the river. Though how would he cross? Scorpions cannot swim. At that moment, as if summoned by the scorpion's thoughts, a large frog swam up to the riverbank. The scorpion came up with a plan and called to the large amphibian. The frog was rightfully cautious of the arachnid. Their venomous stingers are famed throughout the animal kingdom for their lethal potency. The scorpion politely explained to the frog his current situation and implored the amphibian to ferry him to the other side of the river. The frog was certainly reluctant.
And why would I go and do a thing like that? I know of your kind. You will surely sting me right away.
But the scorpion assured the frog.
I may be a scorpion, but I am no fool. If I were to sting you mid-crossing, we would both surely perish. You have my word, I will not sting you.
Though he did not trust the scorpion, the frog could not argue with the logic presented. So the frog agreed to ferry the scorpion across the river, and the scorpion clambered up onto his back. The frog hopped into the river with his predatory passenger clinging, for the scorpion may have been a powerful hunter with few natural enemies. The water was the one thing that filled him with dread. The trip across the current was going surprisingly well at first. The frog was putting a noticeable distance between them and the previous shore, and the scorpion had held true to his word about holding his sting. And despite his great fear, he did not slide off of the frog's back. They were midway through the river when the scorpion felt his animal instincts swell up within him. It drove him mad, and his tail began to twitch. Suddenly, the frog felt a sharp pain drive into his back, followed by a flush of crippling numbness. The scorpion had given in to his instinct and stung the frog. His lethal venom, famed throughout the animal kingdom for its potency, filled the frog's bloodstream. With his dying breaths, the frog gasped,
You fool! Now we shall both perish. You gave me your word you would not sting me.
Forgive me, friend. I have done this not out of malice. It's just my nature.
Within moments, the frog succumbed to the venom of the scorpion's sting and died. His body sank beneath the river's current, with the scorpion still aboard. The tale of the scorpion and the frog is unique among fables in that a clear moral is never expressed. Modern interpretations of this story often liken it to a dual cautionary tale. To the scorpions of the world, you may not always be in control of your inner nature, but you are in control of your actions. Do not give into the base impulses without forethought. It may harm others and may cost you your life. And to the frogs of the world, be careful of whom you trust, for there will always be those in life who cannot overcome their inner nature, even when it works against their better interests.
Now, the question should make more sense to you. What is your nature? In this particular story, the enemy is the scorpion. The frog is mankind. Some of us are going to succumb. Some of us are going to listen to the enemy's lies and his logic. And it's going to sound like it's so good and so believable. But the enemy, the scorpion, had no regards of his own safety, of his own life, because his nature is inherent to destroying things. The enemy's nature is inherent to destroying things. It's his mission to take as many of us frogs in this scenario as he possibly can, because it's his nature. There are going to be people here in your job, in your church, even maybe possibly in your home, in your family, your children, your friends. You're going to have to ask and pray for God for discernment to see whether or not are these people scorpions or are they frogs? Because a scorpion, just like the enemy, he can't help himself. He just can't. It made no sense for that scorpion to sting that frog because the frog told him, look, I don't trust you because I know what your people, I know what your kind do. But the scorpion told him something that was so logical that made so much sense. Look, if I kill you, if I sting you, then we're both going to perish. Why would I kill myself? Why would I kill myself? Knowing that if I sting you and I don't have a fear for water, that I will die as well. But as the story said, as he got further and further away from land, his nature kicked in. It became so bad he began to shake. He couldn't help it. His tail started twitching. Before you know it, he had already stung and killed his lifeline, his raft. His life raft was the frog, and he did it because, like he said before the frog perished, it's his nature. It's the enemy's nature to try to destroy you. It's the enemy nature to whisper in your ear and make you do things that you normally wouldn't do. What you have to do is pray to God and harden yourself from the enemy's influences. Ask God for protection. Ask God for discernment. Ask God for protection, deliverance. Ask God to please make me strong, make me disciplined. Use God's words against the devil when he tries to put you in these moments where you're going to make bad and poor decisions. Ask God to help you to be able to discern whether or not what somebody's telling you is for your benefit, for their benefit, or for leading you down a road that's going to lead to destruction. This world right now is so wicked and so crazy that things are sound good, and people sound like things are so good, and make it sound like it's so good, almost to the point where it's too good to be true. If something is too good to be true, or if it's so incredible that you're like, I don't understand. But then these people break it down to you. Well, if you do A, then A is going to lead you to B. And if you do B, B is going to lead you to C. If you do C, C is going to lead you to D. And it sounds so logical. And it sounds so like critical thinking is kicking in. And it sounds so logical. And it sounds like it makes so much sense. But it could be a trap. It could be a trap. So you have to pray to God for discernment. You have to pray to God to guide you in the right direction. Because, like I always say, the flesh is weak. When things sound so good to be too good to be true, when things feel so good, and when the devil's speaking in your ear and the enemy speaking in your ear and making you do things that you start feeling emotionally, have emotion tied into it instead of logic, and instead of listening to God's word and staying in His word, then that's when sometimes you veer off the path. Make sure you don't veer off the path. That's very important. And if you do veer off the path, make sure you get back on the path as quickly as possible. What is your nature? Is it your nature to be petty and spiteful? Or is it your nature to try to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be? There's a time when I was petty and spiteful. If somebody said something, I had to say something back to them. If somebody did me wrong, I had to try to correct it myself. If somebody did something that pissed me off, then the first chance I get to strike them back, or I would say to myself in my mind, I can't wait to return the favor. That's a sinful nature. That's a prideful nature. That's a nature that's going to lead you away from God. You need to find that road, and you need to get in that nature that's going to put you close to God. That's going to make you want to talk and commune with Him. Want to make you meditate over His word and think about things before you do. Today, yesterday, just at work, someone brought something to me that people that I supervise, they didn't do, and they know they should have done it. It's in our policy. It's in the rules. It's something that is to me is common sense. And when I first heard this and saw what they did, I got angry. I was angry, and I was ready to go off on them, so to speak, and in the professional manner, but was ready to be quite verbally aggressive, not disrespectful, but verbally aggressive. So I call one of the supervisors and say, "Hey, look, I need to see you such and such time, such and such date today." "Okay, sir, I'll be there and bring so and so with you." So time comes, they come there, but before they come there, it's about an hour being there. And just so happened that yesterday I brought my Bible to work, and I was reading it. And as I was reading, it was the first chapters in the book of Psalms. And the more I read that book, I could see the anger fading away from me. I could see the aggravation going down instead of going up. And I think that helped me able to get my mind in the right state of mind. And before they got there, I prayed to God. I said, "Look, God, please let me be slow to anger. Please choose my words and my actions and my thoughts, because I don't want to come off as a complete butthole." I did not want to do that. And I want to make sure that I had my facts straight. I did my research, and I pretty much knew what had happened, but I didn't know exactly whether or not the supervisor gave this individual permission, or is it something that kind of slipped through the cracks. So my first thought was to bring both of them in there, but then I said, no, that wouldn't be the correct thing to do. I need to give the supervisor their respect. So I spoke with the supervisor first. He told me his situation side of it. It made sense. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but it made sense. And it was within the guidelines of the policy. One of the incidents, the other incident, maybe not so much. So after we got it squared away and I told him my point of view, and he understood, and we understood each other, we called the other officer in, and I explained to him certain things and certain aspects of this job, and that there's certain things that is suspected, and that they needed to correct this issue as soon as possible, which they did. So the old me would have gone off. I know for a fact. The old Danny would have gone off, but I knew there was a better way to do it, and I knew I wanted to do a way that it would not put such a bad taste in your mouth that they would feel a certain kind of way and not come to me when they really needed something or felt a certain kind of way. And I thought, well, I need to put myself in their shoes. I wouldn't want to be going off on over something that was possibly a misunderstanding or something that was maybe misinterpreted the wrong way. Part of it was, part of it wasn't. But needless to say, I think I handled it the right way. I think I handled it the way that would be pleasing to God and not necessarily pleasing to what I want to do initially and what I would have done in the past. But to get back to it, my nature now has changed. There was a time when I had scorpion like tendencies and characteristics. I don't have that now. I know whenever I may need it in a life or death situation or a situation that calls for me to stand for what is right. I will have. I don't have a fear in standing up and in confrontation if the confrontation is justified and if it's something that is I strongly believe in and that is there is something that is wrong or something that is maybe someone is trying to destroy somebody or something like that, or destroy the career or punish someone unjustly, then I'm going to stand up for that, and I'm going to stand up for myself. But things that used to make me angry, things that used to the nature that I used to have, far as um, wanting to be right all the time, wanting to be, um, if I had an opportunity to dress someone down or to be more aggressive than need be, I no longer have that, and that is and that's the grace of God. God has transformed me, and I'm a much better and much calmer version of myself. Um, at the same time, I want to caution you: the frog in this particular story, he said that he was reluctant of the scorpion and that he didn't trust the scorpion, but the scorpion again, which is the enemy in this particular scenario, persuaded him with logic. Don't get persuaded with logic or something that sounds good when you know your tuition or in that voice that's speaking to you saying, Danny, yeah, it sounds good, but you know this is not God's word. If you know it's not God's word and it sounds good and sugary sweet, then you know the enemy got his hand somewhere in there. So you got to beware of that. You got to pray for always protection, always being on your guard, always being on the swivel spiritually, because the enemy attacks day or night. It don't matter what day or what hour. He knows our weaknesses, and we give him a crack, we give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. He's going to make that crack wide as the Grand Canyon if he possibly can. So make sure um, that we don't fall into that. Um, yeah, this is a story that I heard Pastor Vody Bachman talk about in one of his recent sermons, and it really made me think about this. And as I was cooking yesterday, I was trying to develop what a story or what I could do as far as a video for today, and this story popped in my mind. So I definitely hope that if you're a turtle, correction, if you're a frog, then beware of these scorpions. They come in all shapes, forms, and sizes. Scorpions can be in your church. Scorpions can be in your job. You can be married to a scorpion. One of your friends in your circle could be a scorpion. Scorpion comes, like I said, all shapes and sizes. Beware of it. Pray for discernment. And if you are able to detect the scorpion, then keep your guard up. Don't let him or her say something that sounds so good and you drop your guard down and then they sting you. Don't get stung. Go with your gut feeling. Go with what you learn and what you've been taught in God's word. God will give you the ultimate protection if you stay in his word. You surround yourselves with other individuals that stay in God's word, and you keep your spiritual guard up at all times, because the enemy is coming. The war is coming. So just make sure you're on the right side of that war. Make sure you're on God's side of that war, and don't succumb to the enemy's sting. Now, if someone approaches you and they say, look, religion is a load of bull, the Bible is a crock. I don't believe in God. I believe in me. I believe in so and so. I believe in this. I believe in that. And they say, why don't you start reading that Bible? Why don't you stop going to church? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? This is what you need to tell these individuals. And you say, look, I choose to believe in the Bible because it's a reliable collection of historical documents written down by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses. They report to us supernatural events that took place in fulfillment of specific prophecies and claim that their writings are divine rather than human in origin. That's from Pastor Voddie Baucham. Now, before I get out of here, I just want to tell y'all a few things and ask y'all to do a few things for me. First thing, if this is the first time you're ever viewing my channel, please subscribe. Second thing, please hit that notification bell because I don't want you to miss any material that I upload here in the future. 3, also, give me a like. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. That helps if you type in Danny Graham, if you type in The Road to Wisdom, it pulls me up faster on YouTube. Also, leave me a comment. Any comment that you leave, I will definitely read and I will respond back to you. Last but not least, I want to ask you to please watch my videos in its entirety because it also helps with the YouTube algorithm. And forgive me, one more thing. Share my video with your friends, your family, your loved ones, co-workers, anyone that will listen, anyone that has an interest in developing a relationship and starting a conversation with God. That's my job, to spread God's word. And with this platform, that's what I try to do each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So before I get out of here, one last thing I want to say. What I want you to do in 2024, if you have never done it before in your life, starting today, I want you to talk to God. I know He would love to hear from you. And it don't matter if He hadn't heard from you in a day, in a month, in years, decades. Talk to Him. He wants to hear from you. He'd be glad to hear from you. And it'd be one of the best things you ever done. So make sure you talk to God as soon as humanly possible. Have a good weekend. And as always, God bless you all. See you on Monday.